Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. And I would like to present one of the artists who is presented on our exhibition, Beauty and Beholder, which is going on now in Aga Achten Gallery and will be on run till the March 26th. And Damilola Opedun agreed to give some brief interview because unfortunately he was not able to travel due to the COVID restrictions. I would start with the first question. Please a little bit give the background about your work, who you are, what are you doing, with which media you are working.
My name is Damilola Opedun, an artist based in Lagos, Nigeria. And my background as an artist started when I was a kid, when I was still very small. I've always, I've always loved to draw, and my parents supported me, even though they were not with each other because I was raised by my mom alone. So, but I was really encouraged, and I started drawing, and at some point I went to, even through my primary and secondary school education, I didn't do fine art. So until after secondary school, that I picked up fine art, creative art as a subject, and did the exam and finally gained admission into Auchi Polytechnic in Edo State, Nigeria, where I finished from. And immediately I finished, I worked for a while in a hotel. But while I was working as the manager of a hotel at the time, I was still painting by the side. And it was in 2015 that I focused solely on painting. So, and since then, I've been practicing. I've been a full-time studio artist, and yeah, and that's how I've been doing since 2015.
Okay. What main subjects of your paintings? Which is the direction you choose, and how it was developing for your artistic practices? Like from which direction you started, and where are you now, for example?
Okay. Thank you. I started as just painting ordinary, genre, everyday life subjects like, landscape, people on the street, just ordinary day subjects like that. And I, and I did, years back, I did a lot of pastel paintings. I started out as just drawing with charcoal. And as I was economically, stable, I moved on to get some pastel, materials, which I used for a very long time. I think I painted pastel for a period of 2 or 3 years, to the point that I even participated in the annual exhibition of Pastel Society of America, and I got an award for that in one of the categories in the annual exhibition in New York. But as I was using pastel, I discovered that I had more in me to express, and pastel was now very restrictive for me. So I moved on to oils. So I started painting oil, painting landscapes, until later, while interacting with other of my colleagues, with my friends, especially older artists, like, you wouldn't know them even if I mention their name. There's Mr. Abbas Kilani, a very fantastic artist, Uche Joel Chima. Who else again? Oluwole Omofemi. Please let me attend to it. I'll get back to you. So, and some other of my friends that were interacting that that I discovered that now art is more than just painting, pretty pictures. That it's about using, joining this global conversation about equality of, of the Black people and other things, like using my art for, as a tool for social and political change. So that I started, looking at other materials, not just oils, but materials that would, enable me to really express myself, to express my ideas. So, and that is what I'm currently doing now. So I moved to painting Black figures, in old fashioned, like a naturalistic and portrait style of painting. So, and that is what I'm doing currently.
Who directed you to come where you are now, and how these people and artists affected on your works, stylistically, or like by the genres which you are, like subjects which you are working on?
Was Abbas Hilani, you know, he's a Nigerian artist. You need to check his work out on Instagram. He was the first person that called my attention to, using my art, in a more effective way to change the status quo and to reshape, people's mind about some old and stereotypes. So it called my attention to that. And another person is Uche Joel Chima. These people are older artists. What Uche did for me was to let me know how, materials can make my work to stand out. The choice of materials. So so from that time onwards, I started experimenting with different kinds of materials. And other artists, I think those are the two major artists that really, encouraged me to start working in this part. And I must mention my bosom friend, Oluwole Omofemi. He also, played a role in letting me know, how to go about some of these things. So those are the major, Nigerian artists that I look up to while, finding my path, in this direction that I'm walking now.
You started to talk about materials and paintings which we have in the gallery has like multimedia dimension, so like not multimedia, but mixed media.
Mixed media, yeah.
Mixed media. So like you use in the 3 portraits which we have, you using the newspapers. Maybe you can a little bit talk about it because you mentioned it now. And also I would like to hear about the kind of subjects in the paintings which we have now in the gallery, because you kind of pointed out in the previous interview that it's working with the memories and traumas which Black community had. So maybe we can slightly move to that topic.
Okay, thank you. Basically, for me, I believe that the more an artist on, himself, the better, he would be able, the better is what he's going to get. And, I started, it started for me, by reflecting on my personal struggles. And like I stated in the previous interview, I had a very strong religious background. I was raised in a Christian home, and my perception about life is, majorly influenced by the Bible. When I mention the Bible, people tend to think about religion, Christian, and all of that. But I see the Bible as I see it as not a religious book. You understand? I see the Bible as one of the books, as a book that one can read to better understand himself and God Almighty. So when I started, at the time I was in a church, and the more I tried to find God, the more I grew apart from the church, that I almost became a rebel according to them. So that's really caused a lot of them struggled for me, because I was depressed. I wasn't, I was, the fact that I was, rejected by the people that should have, uh, 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 be able to relate with my, with what my message was then, really got to me. So it was that time that I started working with, I don't know if you've seen some of my works that I did with figures with distorted shapes with emojis. I don't know
Okay,
if
no.
you've seen anything like that. Yeah, if you go on my Instagram page, you'll see some of that. So it was during that time that I discovered that it was that I was, because I was trying to be accepted, I was trying to get acceptance from these people that made me so miserable. It's as if I was getting, permission from them to be who, I am, or who, I'm supposed to be. So I started working on that, talking about how we shouldn't allow remarks from other people and the social validation to determine our shape. When I compose, I use the Victorian fashion of that you see in my paintings to talk about. Once you see it, it reminds you of colonialism. Like I said, you understand, and I, with the way I compose my values and colors, I want you to look at my work and remember the past, and at the same time, you remembering the past and not feeling, the pain on of the past. You understand? I want the viewer to look at my work and be left with, of forgiveness and joy and, and love. And that is what all my work, that is what they are all about. It's about, black, yeah, it's about black joy. It's about, moving forward.
Okay, it's also brings me to another question, because I mean, you portray the people who are not known. So like you kind of build a contrast, as you told, like with the past, which never existed actually, because you try to decolonize the memories, or like to change the memories of perception of the past, but at the same time the way how you the shape the new memories. But at the same time, the way how you portray the people, they are really, most of the time, really strong characters. And you also try to build up some new narration through the posting the Black people with the artifacts, which are quite important for the Black community, and which is totally controversial with the typical European paintings, I would say, because can you also talk about these symbols, these elements, and also the portraits which you are showing to us? I mean, because I think it's quite important to tell about it a little bit.
Okay. Okay, let me just, in some of the paintings, you see the halo, just like I have in the painting behind me. Basically, the halo is a symbol of strength, is a symbol of glory, because I believe strongly that, in the Christian faith, we believe that we're created in the image and the likeness of God. So the halo for me is it's it's an opportunity for me to paint, you know, and something that is how will I put it now? Something spiritual, something that is not that is abstract, you know, like it's like an extension of the people that you see in my painting. You know, that's which you can all. How do you paint glory? How do you paint, you know, power? How do you paint strength in a very simple uh, and uh, and straightforward way?
As a Black artist, what do you think is now important for the Black artist in like within your own country and in international art scene?
I think it's collaboration, if you ask me, and that is already happening. You know, the artists in diaspora, you know, Africans in diaspora are beginning to. Uh, I I learned from a very close friend that Kende Wiley, you know, is doing a lot in Senegal. You know, he has uh, a residency program in Senegal that some of even think there is a Nigerian artist that was part of the previous group of artists that went for residency there. So I think we need to see more of collaboration between, you know, artists in diaspora and the ones at home.
Maybe you wanted to add something which I didn't ask you.
Um, I just I really don't have much to add, but to just you know, to appreciate the entire team of AG 18 Gallery in Vienna, you know, the entire team and the team of African Artists Foundation, you know, for this wonderful opportunity to be part of the current three-man show in Vienna. And it is my, you know, desire and hope that we are, you know, we're going to have, you know, more of this collaboration in the future.